So I never brought any photos of my day. I've got my Rangers allegiance on my arms.
Have you?
So I've got the 5 stars.
Oh,
Can you see them?
Yep.
So I was always going to have a wee space here for the 6th star, but we might not get this if we go
I
into
don't know.
liquidation.
I think you're jumping
Okay.
way ahead before you can speak. I think you'll still be there, but it'll be different rules and
Maybe.
different regulations.
That was an old tattoo. That was my first tattoo, and I've had it tarted up since. You see, it's got Glasgow Rangers on it with a little Union Jack. And I got these little bluebells put on because you know the famous Rangers song, "The Bluebells Are Blue."
Aye.
And so I've got that, and then I've got like
More.
this one here. It's like Scottish but British. You see, sort of, and it's got it's got the thistle, and it's got the lion rampants there at the side. So it's still got that. And then I've got this here. Well, it's like the lion.
Aye.
So it's like I'm Scottish, and it's Leo the lion because I'm a Leo, and it's got the Leo sign, my date of birth, but it's also like the Rangers line as well.
Aye.
Sort of thing, because always been a true
A
blue.
true blue.
So I've not really got much more room, but I wouldn't want to get any more
Tattoos.
Rangers tattoos. But I'm planning on getting more tattoos. You see, that's like the blue.
Blue Knights.
No, it's like what do you call that? Phoenix rising for the ashes. Because I was thinking to myself, like when I took ill, I was feeling a wee bit better. That was like me rising for the ashes, and it was meant to be red and yellow, but I got them to do it blue because I was a Rangers fan. So that's what I done that for. Like, but I'm glad I haven't got any of these bigoted tattoos. Like, you know, I've not got nothing like that, which is good. Okay.
Do you think bigotry should be stamped out altogether?
I think so. I think they shouldn't forget though that like Celtic's like an Irish club, and Rangers. I don't know whether Rangers have kind of jumped on the bandwagon. It's like they sometimes call it the Queen's 11 and stuff. And I mean, you could go to Ibrox and you didn't see that many St Andrew's crosses.
Right.
But you're seeing a wee bit more of them now because I think you've got the Blue Order. The Rangers fans tried to get both in. But I can remember the last time I was at Ibrox, I looked around and I saw loads of Union Jacks, but I only saw one Saltire.
When the last time I was at a Celtic Rangers game, we saw a lot of Saltire, a lot of Lion Rampants,
Aye.
and a lot of Union Jacks. But on our side, we had a lot of Irish flags,
Aye.
and they had a lot of Free Denny flags.
Aye, I've seen them, aye.
So do you think it's right taking flags like that to games, or?
Well, it's hard to say for a simple reason that a lot of people's using it as a provocative thing, but there is a load of guys from Ireland come over to watch the football. So they're maybe bringing their flags with them.
Like,
you know?
when me and my brother got a game, we sit with the Green Beret. And the Green Beret are all
like
Irish. They're Irish rebels and
Aye.
that. And they bring their drums and everything. Do you think it's right for them to sing what they want to sing, or do you think there should be some kind of boundary?
Well, the way I look at it is, if you're a real fan, I suppose to them it's like a way of life for them. They go to mostly all the games, and they're involved in the sort of political side of it, or maybe they'll sing their songs like you know how you've got like the soldier song and stuff like that, and then you get the Rangers fans to sing the sash and no surrender and all this stuff. But I mean, it is a bit provocative, you know.
See, like when I sit with the Green Beret, right? Don't get me wrong, I get along with the guys and I think they're brilliant and that. But some of the songs can be quite offensive.
You're right. And if that's your thinking that, could you imagine what it would be like for somebody from the other side kind of thing, sitting here listening to that,
There's another thing I was going to ask you when I was here holding these pictures and that. See when there's a minute's silence, and I'm not just blaming Celtic and I'm not just blaming Rangers, a minute's silence should be a minute's silence. There should not be any secretarianism in it. Do you feel strongly about that?
I totally agree with you, because I don't know whether it's maybe the era I was brought up in, but there was a wee bit of respect if somebody died. I would never think actually standing on the terrace or anywhere for that matter and chant. I would never do that. I would. And what can spoil it though sometimes is you'll get people that they hear somebody whistling or swearing or that, they'll turn around and tell them to shut up and stuff. And they're just as bad because they're making it
instigating it.
So you're better just standing, putting your head down and letting that minute go away.
So do you think if, say, like on my behalf, if Celtic started chanting, do you think the club should be fined and find the ones responsible for that?
Well, I ken what we already spoke about was the fact that the club gets fined because there's no any other way they can do it. But I think there should be some kind of law where they can maybe pull out certain fans and maybe fine them for using abusive language or whatever. Because if they knew that they were being penalised for it, it would soon stop. Because like if they knew you were up singing and they actually went into the crowd and they lifted 2 or 3 folk and says, right,
do you think
you're getting nabbed in.
If like say I was at one of your games and you're sitting at the stand and I'm chanting like secretary songs and my club got fined 3 points for every... Do you think that would soon stamp it out?
I think it would. That is a very good point, because at the end of the day, the club, I wouldn't say the club could afford to lose money, no club could, but it would be more imposing on them if they knew they were losing points. I mean, if they knew that for sectarian singing or violence or whatever, their club was losing a point here and there, I think, as you say, it would soon be stopped.
So do you think, like, say after the Celtic Rangers game and a fight broke out, do you think it would be fair if Celtic got fined 3 points and Rangers got fined 3 points? Would that soon get rid of it?
So.
Do you think that would, excuse me, my friends, do you think that would get rid of the riff-raff come to the games?
I think it would stop it because, I mean, put it this way, if the club came out and says, look, we're losing points, we can't afford to have this happening, the fans would take to toe the line, or they'd get banned for life. In some ways, they're quite happy to have that bigotry there because they're making money out of that. Anybody that's never been to an Old Firm game and then they go, they can't believe how there's that air, isn't there?
That hostility, it feels
there
like
hostility there. It's definitely there. And it's not like going to your, I mean, you ken how you get your derbies, like you say you get Wraith Rovers and Dunfermline or some, they kind of hate each other a wee bit, but
it's
I mean, it's not,
Celtic Rangers.
It's like that hostility at the Rangers Celtic game, you could kind of cut it with a knife. But the thing that always seems to happen is like, they go to the Rangers Celtic games and it's no so much, the police have done a good job, they've contained them in there, they've contained them round about the ground.
It's when they go away from them.
They go home and they're going home and they're abusing their family and they're ending up in the hospital and stuff, because they're all fighting amongst themselves.
We were talking about this earlier. Do you think all the pubs should be locked until the game's finished?
Yeah.
See if the police say, right, in Glasgow there should be no pub opened, like within a 500 metre radius of the football. Do you think the pubs should be locked till after the game?
So that, because I mean, put it this way, there bound to be a lot of people who aren't at the game, but they're spouting their bile in and around the pub. They're getting drunk, and then as soon as the fans have been at the football come out, it's sort of can cause me a trouble, couldn't it?
Like I'll speak from personal experience. When I went to a Celtic game, they came in with big horses.
Oh, aye.
And for me to see these big horses coming out,
scary.
Scared the shit out of me, you know what I mean? But they split our line right in the middle of us and they told us to keep moving. And they took no prisoners, they actually pushed us into the stadium. And they locked us into the stadium.
I've seen that, and I've been that happen to myself, where it's quite scary when you're standing there and there's a wee bit of confrontation and then the police come with their horses and they actually batter into you and knock you off your feet.
Like, me and my brother were at a Celtic game and these guys wouldn't move, so they sent a line of horses in and they charged up and the guys quickly moved. But I think what they should do, the council and the police should work together, saying, look, you can't open till this time, or you can only serve so many drinks. So say each person gets free drink, free pints, move them on, or all the bars are shut. And I think for the other thing is no drink, no soft drinks at the stadium. Buy them there. Do you think that would clamp down on the domestic then, if there was nobody drinking and you had to buy your drink at the stadium?
I'm not really sure. I was always a person that I I'd like to get a wee drink when I used to go to the stadium.
I can understand that,
but some folk, they can't have a drink there and no cause trouble, Because I mind once going to a Rangers game, it was Rangers versus Motherwell, and it was mostly Rangers fans there, and it was at the end of the league, and Rangers were having a party that day, and you know, they lit all the balloons up. As it turned out, the party fizzled out because Motherwell won, and the Rangers fans were a bit miffed about this,
so
they started fighting amongst themselves.
So they decided to take things into their own hands?
Yeah, because we were just standing there, and the next minute all these half-full beer cans got thrown across at us by other Rangers fans.
So what happened then? Did the police actually respond quickly?
Well, the police came in and that, but I mean, a lot of folk had been hit and heed and stuff, and a big fight started in the crowd between Rangers fans. In fact, it was about the same season as when the Rangers buses got banned for Kincardine because
they get compelled.
Yeah, but the thing was that there were windows put in on our bus, but it was other Rangers fans that had done it.
Aye.
I mean, that was ludicrous. I mean, you could see that happening with an opposing team.
So